welcome Her Royal Highness Princess Dina Miret of Jordan.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I have your full attention now that your tummies are full. So I look forward to speaking with you. Your Highness Prince Albert of Monaco, Professor Winnet van der Graaf, EORTC President, Count Diego de Monceau, ECRF Chairman, Dr. Denis Lacombe, EORTC CEO. Excellencies and friends and colleagues. On an unusually sunny day on the 17th of November in 1997, in Cambridge, England, we were to hear the most shocking of news. 3 days before our son's 2-year-old birthday, our son Rakan was diagnosed with ALL leukemia. Instead of candles and balloons, we entered the now familiar world of needles, catheters, blood counts, radiation, chemo protocols, statistics, you name it. Amidst the shock, we still had to perform our parental duties, answer questions, and participate in key decisions, as well as comfort Rakan, who was in excruciating pain. There were instant decisions to be made and medical risk disclaimers for protocols and procedures to be signed off on. You know these forms. I believe they should erase the acknowledgement sentence that says at the end of these forms, where they say, I have read and agree with all the above about the so-called potential side effects, toxicity, and risks that may happen, blah, 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 and replace it with, we, the undersigned, who are not of full mental capacity and completely devastated, have read the letters before us but processed nothing. Despite that, we understand that we have to sign this document and that we regrettably agree to all the poisons that will be infused daily into the small body of our 2-year-old son, as we have no expert knowledge and, quite frankly, no choice. The reason I am sharing this is exactly why an organization such as EORTC is beyond important. Little did we know then that there existed an organization that was founded in 1962 to act as the guardian angel of cancer patients. Those visionary founding oncologists and researchers understood that amidst the plethora of pharmaceutical drugs, procedures, surgery, and new radiotherapy options that pervaded this emerging untested space that promised to fight cancer, that there had to be an independent body that can make sure that a patient's well-being remained at the center of everything. So for a mother who was signing off on a document to what felt like, at that moment, an almost potential death warrant for her son, if you read those forms, it's just incredible what you sign off on, to know that an expert organization like EORTC that had formed an expert leukemia group in the 1980s was always weighing in on the latest best approach or protocol for our children and weighing in on the future quality of life of our children is something to be so grateful for beyond what words can bring. EORTC understood that the patient's well-being was not to just survive cancer like a broken ship arriving at shore, but to thrive and live a qualitative and productive life. EORTC also understood that the so-called side effects in the early beginnings of treating cancer were not so side effects actually at all, but rather affected quite negatively the quality of life of the surviving patient. But EORTC challenged that and continues to challenge those who claimed that side effects were a given and that they were the trade-off for surviving cancer. Over the years, EORTC also challenged the concept of mutilating surgeries and advocated for and validated the possibility of organ-sparing procedures that we now take for granted. They also challenged unnecessary brain radiation for children with ALL leukemia and validated that against the child's particular risk factors. Now, brain radiation for ALL leukemia is not automatically on standard protocols. And of course, there are many more examples of EORTC's role in bringing in therapeutic innovation and optimization. Too long a list for this speech. And what about rare tumors? Or rather, real people with rare tumors. Often, clinical trials for rare cancers add an additional level of complexity due to the supposedly lower numbers of people affected. Also, drug companies are not keen to pour in funds to investigate rare cancers due to lower return on investment. However, EORTC conducts clinical trials for people with rare cancers. Again, because people are what matter in this organization. And all this did not come about all on its own. It required the careful building of an efficient, complicated, far-reaching infrastructure that spanned all aspects of cancer management, from imaging and radiology to surgery for the whole of Europe. This infrastructure had to encompass and manage oncologists, researchers, statisticians, physicists, patient groups, pharmaceuticals, and all other diagnostic and therapeutic industries across a multitude of countries who are at different landscapes of readiness to enter into clinical trials. I mean, this is amazing. It's huge. It's complicated. And throughout all this huge multitasking effort, EORTC made sure to maintain the integrity of the data sets and the research, ensuring transparency and equitable accessibility. Most importantly, at a time where commercial interests can sometimes override public health agendas, EORTC maintained their unwavering independence by designing their clinical trials always towards what is best for the patient. Today, at EORTC's 60th anniversary, patient data are still accessible from 210,245 patients, coming from 1,400 studies conducted across 45 countries with a total of 3,100 members. I am told that what EORTC achieved with the limited budget that they had is almost a miracle. And we need more miracles, not only for the 4.3 million new cancer cases in Europe, but also for the 19.3 million new cancer cases worldwide. And that is why I'm so pleased that EORTC has expanded its reach to low and middle income countries, whose patients have so far been excluded from the chance to be enrolled in clinical trials. EORTC have reached out to those countries who have the clinical trial infrastructure, capabilities, such as our very own King Hussein Cancer Center in Jordan. In November, we will be signing the first of its kind collaboration agreement with the King Hussein Cancer Center. I'm also very pleased that EORTC is expanding its training and education of their unique methodology for other LMICs to help build capacity for clinical trials and research. Clinical trials cannot just be a monopoly for rich countries only. The visionaries who founded EORTC were delayed 20 years because of funding. Imagine what would have happened if they did start earlier. Where would we be? It always amazes me that in times of economic crisis, research budgets are the first to be cut. And yet, in times of conflict, billions are somehow found from somewhere in the budget for armament and wars. Cancer kills more than 10 million people annually, half of the deaths of World War I in just 1 year. It is time for governments and the global health community to understand that this war on cancer will not be won without a war chest. Tonight, we have the chance to add to this war chest. There's a list of extremely important projects that promise to move the needle forward in cancer care that require urgent funding. At EORTC's 60th anniversary, one is reminded that EORTC and ECRF is where it is today precisely because it stood on the shoulders of giants since 1962. This gala is dedicated to all those past and present who have made it their lifelong mission to serve cancer patients. And that is why, as the new honorary president of EORTC ECRF, it is truly my honor to take up the mantle from Your Highness, Prince Albert. I certainly have big shoes to fill after Your Highness's 8-year commitment and dedication to this amazing organization. I will endeavor to put my utmost in continuing your legacy in moving forward this organization's great work. Thank you, EORTC and ECRF, for fighting cancer with the highest ethics and standards. Thank you for being the guardian angel of cancer patients. Thank you very much.